You say goodbye, I say hello. Hello! I hope you've had the most fabulous weekend and you're ready to live in George Harrison's material world once again. We've already reacted to side one. If you haven't checked that out, link is there below for you, but no pressure. I would never be the one to try to force you to do anything. So, do it at your own will. But I think this is a great place to start too, if you'd like. I think our first song of the night is "The Lord Loves the One," parentheses, "that loves the Lord." There is this elegant, graceful smoothness that also makes this very danceable and groovy at the same time as giving it this poise, and it's very relaxed and contained. I loved that intro. We started with that steady crescendo, but it was very prominent. The percussion in this one it has this rhythm, it has this feel that just sinks into your bones. And the vocal is really interesting because I always love to notice the placement of it in the mixing. So it feels very pushed back, but that could be due to the echoey, thick reverb that's placed on it that just ties so perfectly into that smoothness. But yet it still rings through loud and beautifully and echoey and bouncy. That bounce back and forth from this very overarching major that's going on into that seventh is so juicy. And what is really interesting about the changes there is that the juiciness is not only from the major to the seventh, but the seventh back to a normal major chord. Like, that's the juicier part, surprisingly, because normally I get hung up on a major or a minor into a seventh.
But the coming down part is always like an afterthought
to me, but here it feels like it's a focal point. It's part of the grooviness of the tune. Another thing that gave this song so much charisma and radiance and just gave it this posture,
like this song was big, larger than life,
was the horn arrangement, all the horns going on, and the way that they melded with the other instruments just created this new flavor, and it made it both beautiful and big. Taking a moment to look at the lyrics as well, such a great message. It's pretty much the whole thing of what you give, you get in return. What goes around comes around, right? It's the golden rule that do unto others as you would like to be done unto yourself. He's also mentioning that this is what it takes to be in good graces with the Lord, the one and only, the Almighty, right? So it's a pretty big message. Number two, be here now. And even just the title of this one is a great message. Be here now, of course. Just taking a look at that opening, fell in love with that acoustic guitar. It was played remarkably. But then, as the song progressed and we got more sound, more pitches, there were a few that clung on. And I realized that we had those beautiful, heavenly, overarching pitches that
just wouldn't let go. They were being sustained forever. They're probably still being sustained at some point somewhere.
And it's because I think we have an organ in the mix, which makes me so happy and excited. And of course we would, because there's actually a bit of a Pink Floyd type feeling to this one. Transcendent nature, the movement of the chords, the way that everything is flowing together. What I love about this part is that here we get some chilling dissonance where even though it's felt a little cosmic, we haven't had eeriness yet. We've only had like the positive side of cosmicness. There's been some warmth and comfort. Now here we're getting a little bit of that spine tingling, eerie, haunting feeling, and it's what he's cautioning us not to do. He's saying don't do this, and it's accompanied by the sounds of dissonance. We have clashing pitches.
We have clusters. We have conflict between the chords and the notes.
It's furthering the message of the caution of what not to do. He's saying that a mind that wanders is an unwise mind, and I feel like really emphasizing that point are these chords backing him up. And here we bounce back into the open happiness, back into that warmth and comfort. And that's supported by all the openness that's going on, both in the direction and movement of the chords and of the instrumental melody, along with the actual timbre and sound of the instruments themselves. The way it's fusing together has this very, very gorgeous and delicate texture that feels heavenly. I just love how every instrument played its part, how we had that overarching organ to begin the song, but then throughout the song we had a different type of overarching pitch, and it's that sort of magical electric energy that could only be given from the vibration of a sitar. And I love how at times his voice kind of mimicked the movement of a sitar, like he did the like da little riffs or runs had a little sitar embellishment feel to them, provided this general feeling like we were in a meditation under the sun. Number 3, try some, buy some. I feel like we were going down this certain path and then bam, he threw this insane curveball. Like one of my most favorite moments of the night so far, because everything was going so beautiful. I didn't think it could be topped, and then he does this. He throws us something that's just drowning, inundated with minor, right? Like so far we've had a pretty major experience, even though we've had some, floaty confusion and some dissonance. Here we're just boom, minor. It has this very bold and brave feeling to it. With this song, it sounds like he's coming at this with a totally different vocal technique, a different approach. Now the placement of his voice, and I'm not talking about the mixing, but just in the way that he's creating the sound through his instrument feels very forward, very present, whereas sometimes he can feel a little floaty. It's a little more in the back of his throat. There's a little more airiness. Here, there's clear sound. It's piercing. So all this up and down motion, it feels like we have these moving staircases like those in Harry Potter and Hogwarts, going up, 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 down, 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 and ascending, descending, mania. It's crazy, which somehow both ways, whether it's going up or going down, it works as this perfect build. Feel like at some moment we had a harp shine through for a second, or some string arrangement, or just some orchestral arrangement that made it feel like there was a harp. This was just glorious. I mean, I'm so grateful that this song exists, truly. Número 4 y penúltimo tenemos The Day the World Gets Round.
gonna say it.
This song sounds like it could be a Beatles song. There's this teeter-tottering, bouncing back and forth between this very innocent intro, like the instrumentation is very light and delicate, and it's just paired with the vocal, and then it just grows into this bombastic sound, this flurry that envelops the voice. It's very supported and it's heavy. Then we go back to that very light and delicate, barely existent sound, and it grows again. It takes us on this journey, and I love how the chords take flight. I love how it feels like they become extensions of themselves. So what I mean by that is we have seen a lot of sevenths being used and a lot of really interesting other chords too. Here it feels like we're taken on a ride with sevenths that just feel like extensions of the original chord. Like the original chords are just, we have add-on notes to make the chords more than what they are. The same way that the added instruments make the sound more than what it was in the beginning. It's over. This has been my favorite one so far, and that's saying a lot. That's a huge statement because every song has been so spectacular and miraculous in its own way. But it's the curveball that we were handed with the last song, but this one just blew my mind. I mean, the vocals came through so beautifully, so powerfully. Like what a powerhouse. Some belted moments, some riffs that were thrown in there, a lot of soul, a lot of feeling, a lot of perfection. Arriving at number 5 also means we've made it to the very last song of the night, and that is all. This song is what I believe is what it feels like the sensation of flying. I feel like that's what this song is like because we can feel the soaring going through a lot of the chord changes. Like we can hear whenever we have that seventh, right? That's like the big propel, right? But then we have a complicated flight moment too, where it feels like we're launched even further, but it gets, a little
tangled, a little mangled.
And I thought that maybe he's incorporating some diminished in there.
I wasn't sure if we had diminished in the first side. I can't really remember. I know we've been talking about diminished a lot.
But I realized there was this coating of major on this complicated chord that made me feel like maybe it wasn't diminished and it's too open and it's too on the path. And I think that diminished would bring us back down or it would interrupt things. So we're going to talk about another type of chord, which is called the augmented chord. Now, if you remember what we talked about with the major chord, and we're going to use C major for example, it is 3 notes, and the first 2 notes are set apart by a major third, and the last 2 notes are set apart by a minor third. Now, in the augmented chord, there are no minor thirds. It is 3 notes, all set apart by major thirds. So instead of this is the major, we're going to go to the augmented. We're going to raise the last note half step. So to me, it's always still giving me that tense feeling that I get from the diminished. I'm going to play a diminished right next to it just so that you can hear the difference and you can hear the similarities at the same time. Diminished, augmented. There's some dissonance in there. There's some clashing sound, but it's also very open at the same time. So there's a lot of duality. A romantic and angelic emotional, passionate, intense outpouring of immense love. Even in the vocal delivery, you could feel the strain, the heartbreak, the intensity. And I love how we had the moments where the chords felt like broken down patches on a quilt, like we went from bum to bum to bum, and then we had moments where it was just like a straight away reaching up, like reaching something that is just out of reach. You're holding up your hand and you're giving your last breath, your last effort, like leaving it all on the field. I'm so confused as to which is my favorite song now. I was for sure it was going to be number 3 when we got there. Then I was certain it was going to be numero 4. And now that that is all happened,
I'm all...
my mind is all discombobulated. I don't know, but I think that's a great problem to have, to not be able to pick a favorite because everything is just so strong and powerful and solid. So you let me know what your favorite is and persuade me. Now, a moment of gratitude and a deep expression of my love for our insanely amazing Super Thanks heroes. Thank you to Richard Olsen, Marissa Martinez, Paul Edwards, Sweetish Jeff, Ed Myers, Rob K, Mr. B, and What the Gym. I love you guys so very much. I sincerely appreciate you guys so very much. I know you guys don't have to send, and I'm so very grateful. It helps out so much more than you know, so thank you so very much. I send you all my love. Richard, Marissa, Paul, and Jeff, Mr. B, Rob, and What the Gym. Some nights get harder to continue on without it, but you help lighten the heaviness, sweeter than candy, softer than a smile. You mend my broken heart, even if it's for a while. I wish I could do the same if it happens that you feel any pain. Wish I could share the light that you give me. Allow me to feel free, like only you can do. So thank you. I love you guys so very much. Thank you. Every single word I always say is true. Sometimes it might sound corny, cheesy, but it's very true. You know, we all have hardships and we all go through things that make us feel up and down and sometimes just
down, down, down.
And you guys are there to turn it around for me, make me feel better. So I love you. There are no words that could express how grateful I am for that, because that is so beyond. It is beyond anything that I thought was possible. So thank you guys so very much. I hope you're doing fun things. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I hope you're taking it easy.